Following program is sponsored by The Greek, Ely's Radio Shack dealer at 570 Altman in downtown Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Georgetown Media in Ely, Nevada. White Pine County Tourism Recreation Board meeting, December 28th, 2021.
I have it, but I am texting all of them right now.
Great. Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah.
Carol, are we still having the band on Friday the 14th?
If there's any updates to the band or anything, I haven't heard about that.
I mean, I read the liquor license. And we're supposed to do the bar that
Right.
night. And I just want,
I know we talked about it like after the mural walk. I don't know if Kyle secured the band or not yet.
How's everybody?
Good to see you.
How are you? Thanks. Hello. Thanks for joining. I'm gonna, at this time, it's 4:02. I'm gonna call the White Pine County Tourism and Recreation Board meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, December 28th, 2021. Again, I guess it's 4:03 now. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's see, Errol, would you lead us, please?
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, I see we have Member Henry, Member Carson, and myself. Thank you for attending. Right now, we'll have public comment. Is there any public comment at the convention center?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, to date, I have not received clear answers to why this board is paying $64 to Public Employees Benefits Program for Doris Lawler. Doris has not been employed by the White Pine County Tour and Rec Board for years. Is the board continuing to pay toward her retirement even though she has been gone for years? Is this board paying the retirement dividend she may have earned for the time that she was an employee? I'm requesting response in writing. Madam Chair, I'm concerned that I've yet to see anything on your agenda in regards to the Heritage Park. I want to remind all of you folks again, national studies discourage the placing of schools or parks near truck stops, and yet we're doing that. We've had 2 different incidents in that area, and it was not good. We need to clear that up. I get to see anything on your agenda in regards to Broadbent Park and the retaining of the present grandstand. That grandstand is a $500,000 asset or more. I want to know, is the city going to scrap it, or do they plan on relocating it to another area? I've asked the city council, I'm asking you folks, I've asked the county commission. I want to know. I don't want grass terraces when we can have a grandstand that will accommodate considerably more people in a much more comfortable setting. To throw away an asset like that is crazy. Madam Chair, for quite some time I've been asking for public information which you failed to provide. I want to remind you to date that I've not received any information on the new parking lot at the convention center. Again, I want that center walkway in there. You do not meet minimum ADA access. You're putting handicapped people out in the street where before they were able to access the center walkway. Also, the money that was given to the community choir for pigeon control needs to come back to this board. To date, it has not. They were private business, they were a private club. They have nothing to do with what Tour and Rec is doing now. To date, I'm not seeing any reports in regards to the county golf course increase of pay for what this board has invested in that facility. I want to remind you that Nevada Northern Railroad is continuing to get additional grant money And again, we don't know how it's being spent. There's an obligation to the taxpayers to know how that money's been spent. If they don't wanna work under the Nevada open meeting law, then they should consider withdrawing from any grants from this not facility, but this particular board. Let's see. Whoa. We lose communication?
I think
George,
we
do you
did.
wanna just pause for a sec?
Sure.
Sorry about that. I didn't do it. Looks like we lost Wi-Fi.
You give us the broadband, but we need it.
There we go.
So George, you've got about 45 seconds.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're back.
Going on, Madam Chair, I've yet to receive any information in regards to Ed Spear, who was a contractor with the Turn Rec Board again. I wanna know if he has any proper licensing. I also brought up, the old Silver State Motel. There's vehicles parked there off and on. I wanna know if they're properly licensed. I also gave you, pictures of different RVs setting up throughout the community. I wanna know if those areas are properly licensed. I brought that up to city council. I've yet to hear anything either from county commissioners or the city council, in particular Kurt Carson. I'm gonna resubmit all of that information, madam. I want an answer.
That's 3 minutes. George.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chachis. Is there any more public comment? Wayne, do you have anything?
Oh, ma'am.
Okay, we'll have a new year. We will move on to item 4, discussion and for possible action approval of the agenda, including removal of agenda items. Any of the board members have any changes they'd like to propose on the agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the agenda as presented.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item B, discussion and for possible action approval of the minutes from November 23rd, 2021. Are there any corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented for November 23rd, 2021.
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, I'll indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item C, discussion only. Kyle, financial report.
All right, thank you. So you'll notice in your packet that there are actually 2 documents missing because of working remotely. We did not get, I'm trying to find my thing to share this, but apparently it's not going to work, so I'll just say that. Anyway, there were 2 items that were missing in your packet. We're going to go ahead and email those to you, and George, I'm going to hand deliver the 2 reporters when they come in. The ones that are missing are the year-to-date budget and the individual hotel contributions. So I don't know why that happened, but what we do have is the report here that has the year-to-date on room tax collection. And if you'll notice, we did collect $167,699.85. That included penalties and charges that were late from the month before. So if you remember when we were going over the November report for October, the November report for October, it showed we were down 4.2%. That was not an actual, we were actually up, but we had one of our major properties not report. So the reason that November room tax is so much higher at 44.3% is because all of that has been reported from last month. So we are up in actuals compared to this time last year, but not up 44.3%. So when I get with Jeff to get those additional reports to you guys, we'll go ahead and we'll change that so that the actual income that was earned in November will be shown in November. The actual income that was earned in October will be shown in October. And that will be actuals for the next report.
Okay, are there any questions on the financials? They will be emailed and we will deliver those, Mr. Chachis and Wayne, if you'd like those also. Okay, let's go ahead to item E, discussion of for possible action, approval to ratify payment of bills. And at this time, I'd like to disclose that I will be abstaining from the Bath Lumber bill, which is item E, as I have an interest in Bath Lumber. So if we could go to the bills, which is D and E, and look those over. Are there any comments or questions about those? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we pay checks 10657 through 10703 in the amount of $137,680 and 67 cents.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other further discussion? Hearing none, indicate your approval by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll go to item D, and that's discussion and for possible action approval to ratify payment of bill to Bath Lumber.
Can you do that? Okay. Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we pay check 10675 in the amount of $728.98 to Bath Lumber.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. I'll indicate approval by saying aye.
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 And I abstain on that one. So I have a question, Mackenzie. Is that possible to do with a vote of 2?
It would be a majority of the members present, which would be,
Okay.
we have 3 members present, 1 abstention, so 2 voting members.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much. Item F, discussion of for possible action, update on Shellraiser Music Festival. And as you recall, Errol attended an outdoor recreation summit in Kanab and came back with the idea of a toolkit. And so his was requested that he create a toolkit. This would be our first one, and so we'll, this is not set in stone. If you have any ideas or questions about this or this, excuse me, I'm mixed up. I'm not on Shellraiser. I've got it backwards. Let's go ahead with item F on Shellraiser. Go ahead, Kyle.
Okay, perfect. So we did receive a $6,000 grant from Travel Nevada to help support Reed Herndon and the Shellraiser Music Festival. So that means we have a $12,000 budget specifically for this event. So what we started doing was reaching out to influencers, writers in the music and art scene, mostly out of Reno. I believe a lot of the attention that we've gotten in advance has come out of Reno, because it seems like a lot of the bands that are pretty booked are coming out of that scene. So starting in the Reno market, we'll be moving into the Salt Lake City market, and then Boise, which also has a really strong music scene. The Reno and Boise are very connected. And so you've got a Reno News and Review, Boise News and Review, and we will also be reaching out to Las Vegas as well. But we feel like the Salt Lake City, the Boise, and the Reno market are going to be the ones that we're going to be the most from. As the additional marketing on this one, so we've been working with him on trying to streamline his efforts. Because he does have a bigger marketing budget than we do at $12,000. So what we're doing is we're working together right now to try to complement each other and make sure that, you know, he's putting money in the right places and we're complementing his efforts. We have yet to meet this new event coordinator. He did hire a new event coordinator, so I believe the next time they're in town, we're all gonna get together and put our heads together and come up with this, more concrete marketing plan for us to use the 12,000 that we've got to use for this. In the meantime, we are putting the posters out around town and just making sure that we can advocate anytime possible to let people know that this is in fact happening this summer.
Thank you. I would like a written report on this next time, and actually a real detail. This is the big we have, and we don't have to run it, but we are certainly here to support it and appreciate Rudy's interest. It will be a fundraiser for the railroad.
Absolutely.
So, thank you. Any questions from board members? Okay, we'll move on to G and back to a discussion of for possible action update on Fire and Ice Winter Festival. And that, again, if you look at your toolkit that Errol created, and this is, the toolkits are for us so that we can be organized with this. And Errol and I have already had we've just been discussing a little bit more of presence on the website, a little bit easier to find and work on the schedule for it. So, Kyle, would you like to start with the Fire and Ice?
Yeah, since Errol's the one who did the toolkit, I'm gonna pass this on to him and let him go over what he's been working on for our marketing for Fire and Ice. And can you guys see the screen share? All right,
Yes, thank you, Kyle.
document, okay, cool, I'll just go through that as Errol walks through it.
Gotcha. So yeah, thank you for bringing it up. And so as Caroline said before, this is the first of hopefully many toolkits, and so I'm open to suggestions, anything that will make this toolkit and future toolkits better and easier to understand and whatever can help. So I started off this toolkit with the dates at the very top. What days is Fire and Ice happening? So it's the 14th, 15th, and 16th of January. I provided the event description, which is on our featured event page on the website. So if you're wondering what type of language you're using, if anyone wants to promote it with us, what can they say, what is consistent with what we've been saying, this is the event description. So this has all the language that I'm going to be using in my marketing, along with anything that you'll find on the web as far as the event goes. Moving on to event posters, so the link I provided is a link to a Google Drive folder that has the 8.5 by 11 poster for this event that Jade made. And so if anyone does not want to come into the Bristol Cone Convention Center but still wants to have access to the posters and print them on their own time, then there's a link directly to the posters that anyone can, with that link, has access just to print them and put them out about town. But they're also available at the convention center. We do print them out. Moving on to the event schedule. So the event schedule really can always be found at elinevada.net. It can either be found on the featured event page for the event, or if you go to our calendar and click on the calendar event, they're two separate pages, but same info, same exact thing. Both have the event schedule for the 3-day weekend. So yes, thank you, Kyle. Moving on to page 2. So, and that is as of what we have on our website as of December 23rd, whenever it was that I made this. The events going on this weekend with the established times and where they are at.
And I'll add, we are working on trying to solidify a concert for Friday nights that will be after work hours, 6 o'clock to 8:30 or so. To try to kick off the whole thing with the concert convention center.
Thank you. So yeah, that, and again, so the schedule is as Kyle can attest, it is a working document, even just the schedule. So this will constantly be updating, and it will always have access to it at the website. And then this is where we get into the little bit more complicated. So if any of our tourism partners or anyone wants to help with our Fire and Ice campaign that we do, and remain consistent with what we're putting out, or if they don't want to step on our posts and want to share everything that we have, here's the entire list for our Fire and Ice campaign. It tells you the dates of when I am going to post certain posts and what that post will entail. So on Monday, January 3rd, I'm going to make a post about Fire and Ice, about the concert and music related events during Fire and Ice. On Tuesday, the next day, I'm going to make a post about the Bristlecone Burger Bun, and so on and so forth. So you have an exact date of exactly what I am posting and when I'm going to post it. And you can see as Kyle scrolled past, well, kind of more up. I also highlighted the event dates. So I will be posting a schedule of events on the day that they're happening. So on Friday the 14th, I will be posting the schedule for that day. And on Saturday, I will post the whole schedule to social media. And same thing on Sunday. And then on the very last page, you can just see general hashtags that we'll be using. So for every post, whether we're using a campaign or not, we use the hashtags Visit Ely, Nevada, Ride Ely NV for anything that you ride, train, mountain bike, skis, whatever it be. Hashtag HowToNevada and hashtag GetElevated. Those are our 4 main hashtags that we use all the time, whether we're doing a campaign or not. But moving on, for this specific Fire and Ice campaign, the main hashtags I will be using for every post is hashtag Pray for Snow, always. Hashtag Winter, hashtag Fire and Ice, hashtag Winterfest, and hashtag Snow. And so all those I've also checked if they are popular hashtags being used right now, if they garnered enough presence that they're easy to find and people are using them anyway, and they are. So that's also why I'm using those hashtags specifically. And then just additional winter hashtags that anybody wants to use. Again, these are all for people can all find the same thing consistently, same info, easily. So additional hashtags that can be used, that we'll also use on other social media, so Instagram or Twitter, are all those other hashtags under additional. And then I also provided a link to the Facebook event and a link to the community calendar as the month. So not just that event, but the calendar as a whole. And that is all I have thus far. So thank you, Kyle, for scrolling. Everybody glitched. Maybe I'm not. Did you think it was good, Mackenzie?
I thought it was great.
Thank you, Mackenzie. I feel like we kicked it.
So let's get back in and then we'll see where we lost them.
Yep. Wi-Fi's fun. Did everybody have a good Christmas?
Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, not bad. Just got back from Eureka today, so.
Cool.
Yeah, not bad. Was your Christmas good, George?
It was, thank you. How are the roads coming back?
Oh, rough.
Lot of snow?
A lot of snow, more slush than anything, which is not fun nothing's fun on the curves unless it's dry.
Oh, there he is.
Yes,
You're on
George?
mute, Arrow. Okay.
Hello, so.
Thank you.
When did I lose?
Yeah, thank you very much, Arrow, on that, and we'll come up with a few suggestions and any more that the board members have or any from the audience. But I think that's a great start for a toolkit, keeps us organized on things.
Hope so.
Well, and what we can do is we can take that around with the posters and hand those out as a package now. You know, we're giving these out to businesses. So it's gonna be a huge advantage to everybody to help us promote what's going on.
Great, thank you very much. Well, let's move along to item H, discussion and for possible action. Update on ambassador training.
You got kicked out. Awesome. Probably.
That's what we're doing.
Maybe I'm just bad luck. I shouldn't be in here.
Just give it a minute.
Yep. We need like a router here.
The good news is everything else is just gonna be discussion anyway.
Yeah, I gotta do my marketing, that's the one thing.
Yeah, but
But
they
still
don't have
just
to
discussion,
approve
right?
anything.
Yeah, you're thinking it from the lawyer's
Out of
standpoint?
that, there was a lot of really good suggestions. There was,
Hey,
a few
Kyle,
corrections and just a lot of really good ideas and a
Kyle?
lot of moments.
we lost
A
you
lot of
for,
moments where, you know, people were kind of enlightened to some of the things that we were doing, that they weren't aware about. So the biggest thing was to try to fine tune the presentation as a whole, which we did. What we're working on now is, the actual materials we'll hand out. So the PowerPoint presentation looks good, but what we're wanting is handouts to the attendees, that they can keep behind their front desks, that they can keep at the register, and not have to just rely on a 30-page PowerPoint presentation printed out. So things like cheat sheets, things like more information about the top 15 activities that, things like that, the hotels, all that good stuff. And so our first frontline staff training run will be with the Hotel Nevada. I've talked with BJ Richardson, and we will be, after the holidays, getting together with his staff and doing another run after we've got all of the materials printed out and ready for them. So, so I know I thought it went well. I was really worried that it was going to come off preachy, and after that presentation, you know, I think everybody found the balance of sharing information, making it passionate, but not making it feel like talking down to anybody. But it definitely felt more like a two-way conversation, which is exactly what I want this training and this workshop.
Hey, Kyle.
So
we had you we just barely got you back when you started talking about cleaning up the presentation. So there was probably about a minute and a half that we did not have you. Could you please just reiterate
yes.
the beginning of your discussion?
Yeah, the Cliff Notes version would be, the presentation went well. We got a lot of good info on how to clean up the presentation better, so we're not long-winded, we're a lot more precise. I think we can get it down to an hour, between an hour and an hour and a half, but no longer, where the training with the chamber and the museum went about 2 hours, but there was a lot more conversation involved. So we will be creating marketing handout materials, like printed materials that will be given to the attendees to use as cheat sheets back at their places of employment. And we will be doing our next training session with the staff at Hotel. I've worked that out with BJ. So that will happen after the holidays, probably after Fire and Ice, to be honest.
Any questions from the board members? Okay. Let's move along to item I, discussion only, executive director's report.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and screen share. Okay, so this is the second time going through this with this format. I'm still taking suggestions on how to make this the most effective and most streamlined. So we'll just kind of go through briefly what's been going on for the last month. So we're still working on the Dark Sky community certifications. We're meeting weekly with Alan Robertson and Outdoor Recreation and Ashley Pipkin with the Dark Sky Association. We're still meeting with Public Works to get information about writing this grant that involves the workbook for communities on how to become Dark Sky certified. And they're even working on trying to make it to where the grant will pay for the retrofit for the communities. I did reach out to Certified Folders. I was waiting for a quote back on the last meeting. The quote came back a little bit higher than what I thought it was going to be, but it certainly is probably right where it should be. But
Do we have a phone number they could call in?
We do, but I don't know how it works. I have no idea how, and also it's not set up, so that's also a whole extra thing. But it's It'd be nice to have a LAN cable on here. That would be a big deal. What do we do? What the heck?
Can you hook it up?
I don't know if we have any LAN cables available, but there's a
Oh.
LAN plugging outlet. So this is good enough for future. It's gonna make this meeting a lot more fun. I have one in my apartment. I don't know if we have one here.
Can you guys not hear me?
No, that you're offline again, or you were.
Oh,
Mackenzie sent me a thing that they're offline again.
We're,
Okay, Errol, you,
we just got back on. So-
okay,
Maybe try to breeze through, since we're not able to
Okay.
keep a connection very long.
Okay, so I think we all have the copy of the director's report, and Kurt and Marietta, it was just emailed to you, so it'd be readable. And I think if we can just, move along on that one, and the same with the marketing report, that is, everyone has those documents. And, anything else so that we can finish this up, since we've got, spotty internet.
well, I'm okay with that, Caroline. If anybody has any questions, let me know.
Okay, so, and Errol, sorry to not have to go through the marketing report, but I think we can pretty much read it, and you've trained us where we are with your dates and such.
Well, I hope so. Thank you.
Will that offend you?
I'm not offended.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we're gonna go ahead to old business, board member reports. Marietta, do you have anything to report?
Yes, all my reports have been completed and submitted. I'm working with the mayor and the city on the American Rescue Plan funding that I requested. I'll be meeting with the mayor, at the beginning of next year. I spoke with him today. They just had a few questions, but that all looks pretty good. So I'm very excited. I wish everyone a happy new year, and thank you, Chairman McIntosh, for doing such an excellent job this year, and for all of our board members, that have attended the meetings and been on our board. Thank you all.
Thank you, Marietta. Kurt, do you have any reports?
Nothing to report, but just like to thank everybody and wish everybody a happy new year.
Thank you. In addition, Happy New Year in 2022 is going to be wonderful for White Pine County Tour and Recreation. I also want to send condolences to Carol McKenzie's family. She passed away yesterday, and she was a staunch supporter of White Pine County Tourism and Recreation, as well as many other organizations in White Pine County, in which she will certainly be missed. She was quite a force for the good in our county. All right, agenda items for the next board meeting. We'll have a full report on the shell racer and also the ambassador report, and we will have the golf course report and that template, and we'll see if we can't slide in a couple of other grantee reports at that time. We'll work with them.
When Caroline, do you want to start talking about the new strategic plan?
We'll do it, we'll have a draft one for next meeting. And then we can discuss it then. That'd be great, because right after that, we start with budgeting, so. All right, at this point, let's, is there any more public comment? Mr. Chachis?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, at the last meeting, I asked for a copy of any letters that were written regarding the supplemental grants in relation to the Heritage Park and Broadband Park, and not received those. Also, I noticed on some of the payroll you put on Shadrach Michaels. Are you paying that for, is he an employee of the facility or for some other venture? When you have time, I'd like to know. Thank you.
Wayne, do you have anything?
Oh.
Did you have anything?
Nope.
Okay, well, let's get him back and we'll adjourn.
Yep,
We lost him again.
just gonna keep it on you. You're between two chairs. Thank you for keeping it brief, George. Even though.
There we go.
We're back.
There we go.
Thank you. George, you were on, I believe, the third item. You did letters on SNPLMA and payroll, so what is your third item?
That was it, those two items.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Is there any more public comment? Hearing none, I'd like to wish everyone a very happy new year, and we will see you next month. Thank you very
Happy New Year,
much.
everyone.
In New Year.
Wow.
Safe one.
Okay, well, land cable, that would make a world of difference.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
So would the land cable, you think, solve the problem?
I think that'd be a big help.
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chachis reporting.